Hey you Misses and Misters! So today's video is kind of going to be a little bit serious. No, really serious. And it's about my childhood, and it's about growing up in domestic violence. So stay tuned if you want to watch that. So, first things first, I'm going to say that this video is probably one of the hardest ones I've had to make, because I already filmed this before and I didn't like the way I put things to say or said things, and I've been thinking about this a lot recently and I just wanted to get it off my chest. So this is me getting it off my chest. And I've cried so much about this because I was being a big old baby, and I don't think I'm gonna cry today because it was a long time ago and I just need to let go. What happened? I need to let it go. I'm gonna tell you the story of, everything, and then I'm gonna say some ways it has affected me personally. So when I was younger, my dad and my mom split up. My dad actually did abuse my mom as well, according to her and my older siblings, and he has said it too. So she left him because he was an alcoholic and he had major PTSD going on and he needed to figure his own stuff out. So my mom got with this guy. We're gonna call this guy Bill. No offense to any Bills, that was the first name that came up. I gotta stop touching my hair, it's bugging me. So Bill was really nice. He was very nice at first. He respected my mom. He respected us. And my mom had 6 kids at the time, including me. I was the youngest. And the oldest 4 lived with their dad. And so she just had my brother and I. And he was really nice at first. And then they moved in, and they had their moments. They argued, but it wasn't anything aggressive. And eventually it got worse, and he would hit her. But I don't remember the early arguments early on. The earliest one I do remember was when she was pregnant with one of my little sisters, and he hit her when she was pregnant. And it was like, oh my goodness, is that baby okay? And that's all I remember over there. So that's one of my earliest memories. But anyways, they got together, they started arguing a little bit, and then my mom got pregnant with my little brother, who of course I did not want because he was a boy, and that's a story for another time. So excuse me. So things were good at first, it was a new baby in the house, things were going fine. But of course, they started arguing again over stupid things one time. And we had like I don't know what to call it. Okay, well, we had this wall, and it had like a wooden thing with a wooden ball on top, and I don't know how he did it, but he literally ripped it off and chucked it at my mom's back. And my mom wouldn't call the cops. And this was when my sister was living with us. One of my older sisters. And she was the one mainly calling the police, because she knew it was, one of these times he could have killed her. And of course she didn't let them look at her back. And I don't think she pressed any charges, but they did take him to jail. But anyways, my baby brother's born. They start arguing. I think one of the arguments before my other little sister was, well, one of my little sisters were born, They were arguing. He was trying to take a shower, and she said something, slammed the door, ran to the other side. And next, because I was in the living room watching TV, and let's say this is the couch and here's the bathroom, alright? He comes out and he's bare butt naked, let me mind you. And I'm in kindergarten. Or first grade. I think it was kindergarten. One of those two. I can't remember. Anyways, he comes over and he literally jumps over the couch. Okay, I know it wasn't a big couch, but he could have hit me or something. And of course he beat my mom up when he got over there. And we would scream for him to stop. You know, it's not okay. Don't do this. And I felt so small and worthless because I couldn't do anything to help my mom. And it felt like no one could understand because I didn't want any friends over. And my mom had this friend. I'm not gonna list their names, but she brought her daughter over once. She was one of my best friends for a really long time. And he made something, and she didn't really like it, and she ate most of it. So I'll give her props for that. And he made her eat all of it, because our moms went somewhere, and he was so mean to us. I remember I ate some of his chocolate, of course, because I was tiny. And I was scared. I didn't want to say it was me because he was scary and he was yelling at us. And my brother said it was him, and it wasn't him. So he took an ass whipping for me, and he took his pants off and everything and whipped him. And my mom was screaming at him to stop, and she was holding me. And it was like, why did you not go over and tell him to stop? Like, that's your kid. Because he would have hurt us way too much. But I did get back at him eventually, but I'll get to that point later. My brother was protecting me. I did tell my dad that he jumped over my head, butt naked. And my dad did not appreciate that, because my dad, at the time, he must have been in his early 50s. My dad is a Vietnam veteran. And he's a very big guy. Okay, my dad wakes up at 5 a.m. to work out. According to my mom, when they were together, he would work out a lot, and he still does. So he told him once he picked us up and put us in. So anyways, I tell my dad this, and my dad's like, oh really? I don't think so. So he comes, and Bill comes and picks us up. And my dad tells him if he does it again, he doesn't mind going back to jail, pretty much. Because he did not appreciate that. And even though my dad wasn't there, he wanted him to know that we would tell our dad stuff. And we weren't scared of him either, is what he was trying to say. Even though I was pretty scared of him. I'm not gonna lie, I was frightened of him. So my little sister is born, one of them, and it did get worse. Like I said, he punched my mom in the stomach and beat her when she was pregnant. And that's the only fight I can remember, at least, because like I said, I was little, and I don't remember a lot of fighting after she was born, but I know there was some. Because I remember he took either my younger brother or my younger sister at the time. And we had a balcony. He did like the Michael Jackson thing, okay? He literally held them over the balcony and said, I'm going to drop them. And you can't do anything about it. And it was because he was, according to my mom, I knew he was drunk. But according to my mom, he would do drugs. So I can't say if he really did or not, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But he was insane, and he was abusive. To not he was mainly abusive to my mom, but if we did something, he was a little too aggressive. So we end up moving, and my sister has moved in now, and she would stand up for my mom a lot. And when my older siblings would come over, I remember we were all sitting in a circle, and she was beat up pretty badly, and he was either downstairs or he was outside or he left, and she was really scared. And we were all in a circle, and she's like, we gotta pray. And she's like, he'll change, because, you know, they always think for some reason they're gonna change, and they're not gonna change. I'm sorry. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, they're not gonna change. Alright? I learned this, like, looking at my mom's relationships in classes, because I took a family class in high school. They're not ever gonna change unless they want to. And he at the time did not want to. So we moved into this house, and it was in the countryside. So no one could really hear us unless they were close to the property. And this was the last house they got together before they split up. Or when they split up, sorry. So the youngest, so there's 9 kids now. My mom only has 9 kids. I have other siblings on my dad's side. So we move into this house, and it eventually just gets to a point that she really needed to break up with him. So my youngest sister is born, and they're arguing a lot. One of the last arguments, he was drinking and my mom was gonna leave. And my older brother wanted to see our dad, and I wanted to stay home. Or I think it was just like a boys' weekend, you know, I think he needed to just see our dad and get away. So my older sister was at her dad's too, which is funny. And so she has me get my other 2 younger siblings in the car, and we're gonna leave, and he has the baby, and he said, if you leave this kid here, I'm gonna give them alcohol, because he was drinking, and of course alcohol is bad for a baby. So she has me go get the baby, of course, and we go drive to his parents' house, because my mom has no family in the state, because she moved from another state. Their last argument that I can really remember that they were together, he tripped and they were arguing, and I was in the dining room and I was eating, or I went to go get the baby because I was hiding, and it was bad. He said my mom tripped him, and I said no, she didn't. And I blame myself for what's coming up. I always do. He called the cops, and they took my mom away. And my older sister was at her dad's. And I didn't want to be left with him because he's mean and he was terrible. Okay. Sorry. So they took my mom, and it was I climbed into the cop car, and I do remember this a little bit, but not really. I climbed into the cop car trying to get my mom out of the cop car, and they took her away, and it was just, I ran into the house, and I went upstairs, and I looked out the window, them driving away with my mom. And my brother was gone. I didn't see him leave. According to him, he took his bike and just went off and stayed on the property. So I'm looking out the window, and I look at Bill. And Bill looks up through the window, and it makes a face like this. You know, like I'm a dog or something. And I go downstairs, and a cop wants to talk to me. And he asks me what happened. And he says, "Did your mom tell you to say this?" And I say yes. Why? I don't know. And I was scared. And I know my mom blames me for that because she's told me multiple times. And I can never forgive myself for that because she uses it against me. And I feel like I can't forgive myself until she does. Which is probably, I feel like that's one of the reasons why our relationship is the way it is. And I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I got you sent to jail. I'm sorry, I said the wrong things. But you have to remember I was little. And even though I was used to seeing cops, I was never used to them talking to me. Yeah, that's how I would put it. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. That's all I can say is I'm sorry. So eventually, my older sister does come back, and when my older sister came back, so did my older brother. And she fed us, so that's good. She and my dad are my superheroes, so I just want to thank God for making them because they helped me through a lot. So my mom comes back and we have to leave. We have to move out of the house because his family owned the house and the property. So we go stay with his great aunt, who's dead now, and she was a big part of our lives too. And I thank God for her because she gave us a place to stay. And she was like the mom my mom didn't have in that state. You know what I mean? And she would relate with me all the time. So, and I loved her so much. And it hurt a lot when she left or when she died because of all the things she did for us. So anyways, we did end up moving back into the house because they went to court and the court said, she has your kids, she's got other kids, she gets the house. And of course, there was something wrong with the house, and his family did help my mom out a lot. Some ways it has affected me growing up. I was very lonely growing up. I was made fun of a lot. Like I said, I don't want to make friends, and I don't want to have people over because my parents would fight. My mom and Bill would fight, and it was embarrassing. Whenever we would get into an argument, wow, my brother and I were very, very physical. And I mean so much, either one of us was sent to the hospital or we put a big hole in my mom's wall once. Yeah, it was bad. And I think some of that is because we would watch them, and whenever they had something wrong, they would argue. So I guess I put two and two together and was like, anger, conflict, that makes sense. And that, of course, that's not how you solve things. I had no hope. I had no hope. Because it's like, why would this happen to us? Why would God let this happen? And I was very mad at God, and I was very mad at my mom because she did not just up and leave. And she told us she wanted to leave multiple times. She never did. And I feel so mad at her. I don't know why to this day I'm so mad at her, but I'm mad at her. And I know she had the worst thing. You know, she had it worse, but she didn't have to grow up that way. Another way it's impacted me is it made me a very angry child. I was angry for people being happy because I wasn't happy. I wasn't mean to people, but I was mad at people. It's like, look at all these happy motherfuckers and I can't even have a good day. And I did get back at him. His family, he had a family portrait and I had pink nail polish. And this was after he beat my mom. And I colored the glass. I don't know if I got to the picture, but I colored it in pink nail polish. And I did get an ass whipping. They made me go sit in the corner. And my mom still says to this day that it was mean. And I was like, no, it's not. You know what's mean is abusing your spouse. That's someone you love. And I feel a little bit better because I've been crying about this all week and I was trying to figure out something to do. And I was like, I think I just need to get this off my chest. So yes, this did happen. I'm sorry if you want to see tears, but I can't cry about it. I can't anymore because it was so long ago and I just can't anymore. I can't live in the past. I can't live in the past anymore. So I want to thank my dad and my older sister for being there for me. I want to thank my great aunts for being there for my family. And I want to thank my mom. And I want to say I'm sorry to my mom. Because I know she's still mad at me for that police report. And I'm sorry. And if I could go back in time, I would. And I want to thank my mom's friend. And I want to thank my big brother for taking, all that abuse for me. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And maybe on one of my off days, maybe, because I do get a lot of off days when I think about it. And another way it's affected me is because they gave me a lot of nightmares. I don't know why, but he is one of my worst nightmares. I get a lot of nightmares and I will just think a lot about it. I've been thinking a lot about it and I get a lot of nightmares from it. And I just gotta remember that's not who I am anymore. I'm a different person. And I'm not a little kid and I can protect myself and I can do this. And it's hard to move on. And another way it has affected me is because it gave me a false reality of what a relationship is. Any relationship. I didn't have a good relationship with friends. I didn't have a lot of friends till high school. And when I got with Dylan, it was really hard at first because I had to weigh in what I could do and what was okay and what wasn't okay and what I can't do. I mean, I knew the simple stuff like I can't cheat and, do other things, of course, but he's very good about that. And he's very sweet and he's very caring, especially when I'm having an off day. And that's all I want to think about. So, like I said, thank you guys. I'm sorry if you want to see tears and everything, but I can't cry about it anymore this week. I've done so much crying that I guess I drained out my tear sockets, maybe that's how you would put it. So I'm very sorry that this week's video is very sad and serious, but I needed to get this off my chest. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you guys, and I'll see you next Saturday.